Welcome back to Car Talk. I'm Finn, and with me is my fellow car nut, Alex. Today, we're diving into one of Subaru's quirkiest creations, the BRAT, which stands for Bi-Drive Recreational All-Terrain Transporter.
Absolutely, Finn. But that long name represents a car with an even longer legacy. The Subaru BRAT hit the market in 1978 and stayed in production until 1994. It wasn't your typical small truck. It was a mix between a coupe and a utility vehicle, all wrapped up with Subaru's famous four-wheel drive.
That's right. While other compact pickups like Toyota or Nissan trucks were tough competitors, Subaru had an ace up its sleeve. Every BRAT came with four-wheel drive. That instantly made it stand out in the late 70s and 80s, especially since it was based on the Leone station wagon.
And let's not forget the most bizarre and brilliant feature, the rear-facing plastic jump seats bolted into the cargo bed.
Oh yes, those seats! People either love them or laugh at them. They weren't about comfort, they were about money. Subaru added those seats to dodge the infamous chicken tax.
Exactly. For listeners unfamiliar with the term, the chicken tax was a 25% import tariff on light trucks in the United States, but passenger cars only got a 2.5% tariff. By installing those jump seats, Subaru legally classified the BRAT as a passenger car instead of a truck. Clever, right?
It was genius. Though, I can't imagine sitting in the back during a long ride. Facing backwards, plastic seats, no real protection. It sounds like an amusement park ride gone wrong.
True, but it gave the BRAT a unique identity, and that's partly why it's a cult classic today. In fact, President Ronald Reagan owned one at his California ranch. He drove it for decades, and it's now fully restored at the Reagan Ranch Center.
When a U.S. president keeps your quirky little truck for 20 years, that says something. But beyond politics, the BRAT also came with some interesting engineering. Early models had a 1.6-liter engine, later upgraded to 1.8 liters. And if you wanted extra punch, in the early 80s, you could even get a turbocharged version pushing 94 horsepower.
Which was no rocket, but let's be fair, this wasn't built to race. It was built for fun, for utility, and for that offbeat Subaru personality. And speaking of personality, the BRAT even had a spare tire mounted under the hood. That's a feature you don't see every day.
No kidding, and depending on where you lived, it went by different names. In Australia and New Zealand, it was the Brumby. In the UK, it was the MV pickup or shifter. But oddly enough, it was never officially sold in Japan. It was built there, exported everywhere, but not offered to Japanese customers.
That's the irony. A Japanese brand building an export-only vehicle. But Subaru was reading the market right. Demand for small trucks was booming in North America, Australia, and Europe.
And the styling evolved too. The second generation brought in the Targa Top version, a spring-loaded side step into the bed, even roo bars and special packages in Australia. Subaru really leaned into making the BRAT playful.
Playful, yes, but also practical. Farmers in Australia loved it. Enthusiasts in the US loved its weirdness. And to this day, collectors hunt for them, especially those rare turbo models.
And of course, motorsport fans haven't forgotten it. There have been desert racers, drag conversions, even one that appeared on Top Gear with Freddie Flintoff. The BRAT keeps popping up in car culture decades after production ended.
That's why I call it Subaru's wild card. It wasn't a sales giant, but it became an icon because it dared to be different.
Agreed. The BRAT was equal parts loophole, legend, and lifestyle, and in many ways, it paved the road for Subaru's later experiment, the Baja in the early 2000s.
But between you and me, the BRAT had more soul.
I'm with you there.
That wraps up this episode of Car Talk. If you enjoyed our look back at the Subaru BRAT, hit follow and share it with your fellow car enthusiasts.
And we want to hear from you. Would you dare ride in those rear-facing jump seats? Drop us a comment.
Thanks for listening to Car Talk. Until next time, keep the wheels turning.